Yo, what's up, everybody, man? We back up in here. It's Two Bros Talking. I'm Burn. I got my brother Ben on the line.
What's happening, everybody?
And this is our first movie review, our first official movie review / discussion. Today we talk about Black Widow. Just came out yesterday. I seen it twice already. I know Ben checked it out yesterday.
I didn't see it, I think once and a half, because I watched it all the way through, and then I think I watched the ending, the middle to the end, so about 1.5.
All right, so let's jump right into it, man. What right off the rip, what did you think? And by the way, this is gonna be a spoiler discussion, so if you haven't seen it, man, press pause right now, go check it out, and then come back and make sure you make yourself part of this conversation. So like I said, right off the jump, what'd you think?
Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna give it a hard 8 out of 10.
A hard 8 out of 10. Okay.
Like I've been saying forever, the thing that keeps this Marvel engine rolling is the stuff that came before it. So Black Widow essentially was set up a long time ago.
Well, it was set up,
with the Red Room, and I watched the Legends.
Yeah, the Disney Plus Legends.
Yeah.
That's important.
And
that's important to look at before you go into it.
Yeah, and of course I noticed it back in the day, but Loki said Dracov's daughter back in Avengers.
Yeah.
So just to have that come to fruition now is fantastic. The way they set that up, the way they did, the 1995, the Russian family infiltrating the United States, how they just set up all of the Cold War stuff that was happening in the real world anyway, I thought was slick.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson, fantastic. Rachel Weisz, fantastic. Florence Pugh, everybody was good. Everybody was really good.
My thing is, like you said, they set everything up, and man, they really I think they did a good job, like, playing in it, like, man, because they set up pretty much the backbone of the movie in Avengers. That conversation that she had with Loki in the Avengers is essentially what this movie was about, like the red in her ledger, and they really did a good job of like going back into that and telling everybody that story, letting you kind of getting a glimpse into the Red Room. I liked how it was a floating fortress in the sky. That was pretty cool. And all the Black Widows still running around and doing all this dirt, man. It was really good. I think the decision to put it where they put it was really good, because with all this stuff that's going on, all these movies, you had to put it in a point where everything was kind of quiet. And I feel like on Earth, after Civil War, before Infinity War, it had to be like a certain level of a downtime, and I think that was the best time to like flesh her story out and really give her an opportunity to like shine, because Tony is wherever he is licking his wounds. The Avengers was broke up. Captain America is on the run, so it was a good time to tell that and really focus on her. And I think they did a real good job in it. I liked the Red Guardian in it. I like how he kept harping on Captain America, because he was the Russian super soldier. So he, that's his contemporary. He like that's the reason why I'm here, and I want to be pitted against him and see how I would fare against him. I thought that was real good. I did like the family dynamic. I like the Americans on FX, and that's pretty much what that's
pretty much what it was. That's pretty much what it was. I love the family dynamic. I love how they played around. I love how they made fun of themselves too. Lawrence Pugh was talking about how when after that first initial action sequence, when it's calm and they in that store, and she asked Natasha, why did she do that? Her superhero landing.
Yeah.
She was like, why did you do that? Why did you land and then you throw your hair back like that? I thought that was slick, because she been an Avenger for however many years. So of course she been looking at her exploits all over the place.
And
so
then
she would know.
They even brought it back when she did it, and she was like, "Oh no, that's gross.
Yeah, at the
that
end,
ain't my
she was
style."
like, "That's gross."
And I like how
and the vest that she had on in Infinity War.
Yeah, that was a nice touch, because I mean, you know, in Infinity War, for her to show up blonde hair with green on, you kind of like, man, what the heck? I mean, I know you undercover, but I mean, I didn't go in. I didn't go into it saying where you get that green jacket. There's that a plot point, but you know, I like that they hit on it, and it was cool that we got to see how she got that Quinjet. So I figure everything that happened in Black Widow is essentially from when she had that conversation with Tony in Civil War up until the end of Civil War, because clearly she helped Cap break everybody out.
Yeah. That little bitty, that little bitty hit between the almost the end of Civil War and the post credits of Civil War. This is when that happened. Now, it had to happen.
Let's talk about. I'm gonna bring it up, and I'm gonna go first. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You know, where some people would say the MCU is taking liberties, whatever that means. You know how you can take liberties with your own stuff, but Taskmaster. Now, for me.
Oh, okay.
For me, I get how a lot of fans get frustrated when you take a character, you do a race swap, you do a gender swap. I get that. Here's why it didn't bother me so much in Black Widow. The main reason why it didn't bother me in Black Widow was because Taskmaster, if you go by Taskmaster in the comics, you can't just throw him in. There's a lot of setup that needs. Taskmaster would have had to have been somebody that had been throughout the MCU. I don't think to put the comic version of Taskmaster into a movie, he deserves setup. To make it Dreykov's daughter in Black Widow, it makes it personal for her, hence making the reveal. And when she figures out who Taskmaster is, it's personal, and that's supposed to add that shock layer to it. And it's a tragic thing. I mean, she did it not necessarily because she wanted to do it in terms of Harmon Dreykov's daughter, but it was something that had to be done in order for her to get where she needed to go. And clearly, Natasha wasn't the person back then that she is now. And then, you know, that's been her, you know, that's been her the cross that she had to bear all these years, and then to see it living and breathing in your face like that, I feel like it was good for that situation. I wouldn't have wanted it to be the Taskmaster from the comics without any setup, because if it had, everybody would have been complaining about how weak a villain he was, because there was no setup behind it. So I get why they did it. I like the turn, and so it didn't bother me. What do you think?
I like the turn, just like you said. I think the turn, the way they did it kind of bookended Natasha Romanoff's Black Widow, because you start early. You got Red in your ledger, Dreykov's daughter. This is words from Loki and Avengers, just to find out that Dreykov's daughter was still alive, but she is the big bad Taskmaster. So yeah, when she took that off, I was shocked, because I didn't expect it. Now, you know, watching the opening credits, I saw Olga Kurylenko's name, so I was like, okay, so I'm expecting to see her somewhere. I thought maybe she was gonna be mom, or not mom, but maybe she was gonna be a main Black Widow rival of some sort. I was thinking a whole bunch of stuff, but her being Taskmaster, I had no idea. So that was fantastic. And like you said, Taskmaster in the comic book, he can mimic heroes' abilities. There's no way to do that in the movie universe without them doing it the way they did it. Yeah, they upload it into her cerebellum via disc.
Yeah, whatever technology they was using.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, because if you're gonna do Taskmaster from the comic books, he almost need his own movie. Like, you know, because his backstory is like he was a SHIELD agent that infiltrated this. He lost his memory. Like, it's a real convoluted and complex background that he got. So in order for it to be him, in order to do him proper justice, you can't just throw him in the movie as a villain. Because if they had, everybody would have been complaining about how they wasted Taskmaster. You do it this way, you don't waste the Taskmaster from the comics. You use the name, you use the title, and then you tie it into something that's personal for Natasha. Now then you still get to play with Taskmaster.
Yeah, she's still in the MCU, because in the comics he floated between bad guy and good guy. I think he was training with some Avengers. He was a SHIELD agent. With a Taskmaster.
He got a long twisted up history, and I think if you were going to do him based on the comic book character, you would have needed more setup than to just throw him in there, because that would have been a waste of a villain.
And like you were saying, as far as them taking liberties with their character, I think in this particular situation, I was not bothered at all that they did the gender swap.
No, I think it worked. It worked like for the movie.
You thought it was a dude. Well, come to find out, it was her in armor. But it makes sense.
Yeah, it worked. It worked for the movie. And I'm like, when you do gender swaps and you do racial swaps, man. When it's unnecessary, that's when it becomes annoying. Yeah. Like if you want, like with the whole Black Superman thing. And it's not what's his name from Earth 2? Is it Val-El or Val-Zod?
Zal,
Val-Zod. If it's not him,
no, he is Zod, right?
Yeah. If you making Kal-El black, that's a waste. Let me stop you right there.
You messing up.
But if it's a Black Superman that's not Clark Kent, that's not Kal-El, and then you weave a story, that's fine. And I think in this case, they wasn't like, this is a Taskmaster, it made sense. It wasn't like Marvel and Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
like when we just go,
protocol. Maybe this is based off of
and I mean
different character.
Remember what they did in Iron Man 3, because we're gonna get to see the real Mandarin coming up soon. So, for all we know, she could have been a prototype or the next Taskmaster. And, let them handle that. We'll see where they take that in the future.
I thought the Widows was cool.
I did like the idea of the Widows.
Like you were saying in the air. I loved how they did the Widows. I thought that was slick, because, of course, she wouldn't be the only one. No. When she faced off with all of them widows, I was like, that is so slick.
That was well done. Post-credit scene. Now, post-credit scene, you go on this ride. The movie is 2 hours long. You go on this ride. You caught up in it. You wrapped up in it. Like, man, I liked it. You post-credit scene. It's post-Endgame. So that kind of caught me off guard. Like, oh snap, that's right. Natasha is gone, and then for her to go to the gravesite, and then Julie Louis-Dreyfus character, she show up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I could hear rumblings in the theater that I was in, and I'm like, well, you didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
They haven't seen everything.
And then to kind of pit her against Hawkeye, that's pretty tight. And they did mention him a lot in the movie. I was kind of hoping he might pop up, but they did mention him a lot.
Up too, yeah.
He did do that little voiceover, so his presence was felt.
He gonna show up in the Hawkeye series?
I don't think so. I'm thinking that the Hawkeye series is probably gonna focus more on him passing the torch.
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, him training up Kate Bishop, and I hope it don't. Like, let's let the TV show be that, where he's training up Kate Bishop, and then we see that play out later on down the line. I
The only reason why I think that is because of Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, well, I mean, and in that too, that could be
I mean, unless they planning some West Coast Avengers team.
Well, it might be. Somebody hinted at.
She got Elena. She got the U.S. agent.
Somebody hinted at a Dark Avengers type thing, and I think it's probably
Dark Avengers.
I think it's probably gonna lean more into that. I mean, because Rhodey gonna have his show, the Armor Wars. So it could be setting that up.
Oh shoot! And see, that'd be slick too. The only reason, like, I wasn't into the Dark Avengers in the comic books because they essentially turned villains into whatever the heck they did. But okay, Dark Avengers, if they did do that, based on who they using now, it's just essentially, good guys who kind of push the limit. Elena was under control of Draco. She didn't want to become who she was. She just happened to have this skill set, and she probably wanted to make her sister proud.
Yeah, and that's something.
Agent, he want to do good. He just can't help himself. They might push the limits a little bit.
That's something that's one of them things that I'm always like, man, let the pros handle that. And if because you got that, but you kind of just said is a potential storyline, potential plot. But I'm all on board. To Florence Pugh and Yelena, man, my favorite thing about her was they didn't make her a carbon copy of Natasha, because she be clowning. She a clown.
She was completely different than
the personalities was different. Obviously them two spending that time together when they was young, you got a lot of similarities, but they were totally different. So moving forward with her playing the role of Black Widow, it's gonna be, you're gonna have the Black Widow there, but it's gonna be a totally different character. And I think she nailed it. I think they picked somebody who kind of looked like Scarlett Johansson without looking like her. You know what I'm saying?
And I think maybe, just maybe, they're gonna keep her accent Russian.
I think they should.
Which I think is kind of cool because like you said, she is close enough to Natasha to be good, and she gonna play that. She'll fill up that particular role for her. After I finished it, I didn't realize in how many movies the Widow was in.
She was
lot, in almost all of the movies.
She was in every Captain. She was in 2 out of the 3 Captain Americas. She was in one of the Iron Man, and then she was in all 4 Avengers. So and then her own movie. So she got her prints all over the place. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like the funny thing about these movies is, when you look back, you're like, dang, this person been in X amount of movies. And like I said, who's your favorite? Well, when you go on Disney Plus, you look at stuff like The Legends, and you see all that stuff, you like, dang, that story was deep. This character is deep. This character, it's like it just keep going and going and going.
Because somehow Marvel has managed to make everybody a star in phase 1, phase 2 of the Infinity Saga. Somehow they managed to make everybody the star of the Infinity Saga. Everybody. Because if you look up, you're like, man, damn, Iron Man was all over the place. And then you're like, well, no, but so was Cap. He got his fingerprints all over the place. And look at what it did to his life and this and then. Now Black Widow and Thor, somehow Thor is... How do and there's no way they set this up, but somehow they managed to just pull this off up until this point. Everybody starred.
It's like it kind of, in a way, they made it where multiple characters are the main character. Like, you know, if you look at it through.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, they kind of set that up.
You put it more eloquently, but
now we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna get into dislikes right now. The one thing I didn't like about it, or I shouldn't say didn't like about it, but I definitely like chuckled and kind of and maybe eye rolled a little bit, was those girls, those women took some hits and just got right back up. Like at the beginning when they getting chased in Budapest and the Black Widow they jump on that chimney pipe and the other Black Widow she jump on. Now the Black Widow fall off, she break her ankle. Natasha fall off and hit like 3 things on her way down and then land on her feet.
She landed
on her feet.
Everything going down, and he landed on her feet. Like
hold it, and she landed. Like, damn, man, she landed on her feet. She landed on her feet, holding her side, and I'm like, man, hold on. Like you said, Cap took some hits like that, but super soldier serum, healing factor, rada. And then the other part where I was like,
it was that car crash, was right?
When they went down that tunnel stairs. Oh, car flipped over. They banged, and they just got out. And she was like, "I'm cut."
And remember, Elena didn't even have a door on. Yeah, I mean, she didn't say put her seatbelt on. Yeah. But it's like, man, your leg didn't flop out or nothing like that. Happen. And when it was all over with, she had a scratch on her back.
Yeah, that was.
Natasha did have some bruises. But I agree with that. Yeah, that was like, damn, they are hardy.
That was the couple times where I kind of was like, all right, y'all tripping. I'm like, all right, superhero movies, she is a superhero, so I give you a little bit of liberties, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, man, that's that's a little much. I mean,
this is what's funny about that. I don't know why that stood out more than if any, Tom Cruise in any Mission Impossible, he getting shot at by 20 dudes and only one bullet nicking. Just barely, but that's somehow we can believe that. I don't know, it was something about how they kind of highlighted the fact that when she fell, she hit that, and then she hit that, and then she hit this, and then she hit this.
Yeah, she landed on her feet.
Like a cat, she come down on her feet. Yeah, it was like, damn, that's a lot of abuse for somebody to take without breaking something.
Yeah, that was kind of the one thing that really kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And then before we wrap it up, Red Guardian and they were calling Rachel Weisz's character Iron Maiden. I know the character is from the comic books. I didn't read a lot of Black Widow comic books.
Melina, that's Iron Maiden. Yeah,
Iron Maiden. She wore that suit, bruh.
Rachel Weisz,
she wore that suit. It, yeah. Like, dang, like, man. And I liked him too.
If she had to put that gold mask like she got in the comic book, that's what she looked like.
Well, it's tight because like at the beginning, when they was running, trying to get to that plane, and then he picked up that trailer. I was like, oh, so he already set like. This ain't something that he got to do to become Red Guardian. He already is a super soldier. He already got that. I really thought that was tight. And then, like when they had the dinner, Melina, she was Rachel Weisz. She was real like robotic. Like, hey, we doing this because we did this mind control, and the world is better when people can be subject. When people can be controlled and everything else. She was down for the cause, but it was like Natasha and Yelena pulled her. They pulled her. They kind of pulled her out of it, and she turned quick. And I can see a lot of people saying that could kind of be a turn off for them. But I'm like, I think the thing, obviously when she found out Yelena was one of the people that was being mind controlled, that hurt her heart. But it was that conversation that she had with Natasha that got me because she told her at the beginning when she was on the stretcher, she was like, don't ever let him take your heart. And then she asked her at the end, how did you not lose yourself? And she was like, pain makes us stronger. It's like your words kept me alive, and it's like from not to be family. Those sprinkles, even Red Guardian singing Yelena's favorite song from when she was a kid, when she felt like dope. All that stuff was real to her. It's like,
because no matter how hard and evil you are, you spend 3 years with a kid, you develop an attachment to it.
And the kids are going to develop it. Yeah, they were a family doing a job. I mean, they were operatives doing a job that became a family, and it was like, I think I liked how Iron Maiden, she flipped the script, because it's like, no, I feel like this might be a little bit more important to me than anything else. So, what did you give it? What was your score?
I gave it an 8 out of 10. There wasn't, like you said, there wasn't nothing that I didn't like about it, but what you said about the damage resistance, I was like, I'll just let it suspend my disbelief. I just go with it. I just deal with it. Same way at the end, like when Taskmaster pulled her parachute, they were right on top of the ground.
Yeah. That's another one. I knew it was 3. That was another one where it's like, man.
Yeah, they were right on top of the ground when she pulled her parachute.
Yeah, those are my biggest. That's probably my biggest gripe from it. It's like a lot of that stuff. It kind of pulled you out a little bit, had you smacking your lips like, man, come on. But
yeah,
I
think as far as the solo movies go, I think it was better than Captain Marvel. It was better than Captain Marvel. I think it was better than Iron Man 2, not Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is still my favorite. I don't care what nobody say. And then it was better than the first Avenger, but not better than Winter Soldier and Civil War.
I'm gonna say.
And then I think it killed Ragnarok and Thor. No. It killed the second Thor and Thor 1, but not Ragnarok.
I'm like. I think it was better than Captain Marvel, and I think that's what it is. And that's what if it had to do anything, it had to do that. It had to be better than Captain Marvel, because Black Widow is the first female character first major female character in the MCU. I don't care that Captain Marvel came out first. All it had to do was be better than that, and I think it was. Miles. I think it was.
She was the second solo female movie, but I think she outdid Captain Marvel.
I think it was better than. I'm not a big fan of the Spider-Man movies, so I think it was better than Far From Home. Homecoming was alright. I dug Homecoming. I think it was better than Far From Home.
Wait a minute, I liked Far From Home better than. Wait. Which one was first?
Far From Home. Homecoming was first. Far From Home was second. I like it better than Far From Home.
I like Far From Home.
Obviously the ones you called out like Thor 2 and all that stuff. But I think it was just as good as Doctor Strange. I think it was just as good as Doctor Strange.
It was good as Doctor Strange.
So I'm gonna give it I'll give it an 8. I'll concur with that. So Ben, this is why it was really fantastic, because different from all of the other movies, this movie had a lot of history to play off of, and it didn't overdo it. Because it could have easily overdid, all of the stuff that came before it. But somehow they managed to just stay in the Black Widow lane, despite all of the stuff that was tied to her up until that point. They stayed in that little bitty lane of the Red Room and of her family, and I thought it was slick that the only person they used from previous ones was Thunderbolt Ross. I was like, that's fantastic. I think that's perfect. Just as a tie-in, yes, this is right after the Sokovia Accords. But it's not about that.
Naturally be right there involved, but everybody else got stuff to do. So yeah, it's a little bit of window for just a solo act.
Well, all right, y'all. That's all we got for right now. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Be on the lookout for more Marvel and comic book movies and just movies in general. We're gonna really start to get back into that. You got anything else?
No, I think that'll be, like you said, that's it for now. But definitely look forward, because if we're gonna go back and we gonna run through the MCU, we gonna get into
we're gonna do.
Trust us, there's many more movie reviews to come.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all that good stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like the video, post a comment down there. Let us know what y'all think. Did y'all like the movie? What you liked about it? What you didn't like about it? Do you agree with our takes? We just want to hear from you guys and everything else like that. But like I said, that's all we got for right now. We're gonna wrap this up. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Peace out.
Peace out.
I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for a very lovely evening. Never have so few owed so much to so many. Good night.